What's going on, you guys? Bias here, and today I want to do a tier list. We will add more tiers if I think we need it. I think we're probably going to, but let's just see how it goes before we start jumping the gun saying that we need more tiers. Um, I've seen other people's tier lists, and I agree with some of them for the most part. Some of them I'd kind of change a couple things, so I thought I'd just make my own. I haven't had as much time as the content creators because obviously they got access to it before the public did. I'm the nobody, so obviously I didn't have access, but I think I have a pretty good feeling for the way that the game's going to play out and what the meta is going to be and kind of what you could make work and things like that. So I'm going to kind of rank it based off that. Um, yeah, let's get started. And if you want to watch me on Twitch later today after this is uploaded, or depending on when you're watching it, I'll leave a link to my Twitch below, and I also have a Twitter that you can follow if you want to. But let's just look. So the first one I want to rank, just to make this kind of easy, is I want to rank the best character in the game right now, Genji. Genji's the best character in the game right now. His ult is really good with the change to make him faster and all that other crap they did to DPS passive. He is a character that I think should be good because he's flashy, he's exciting to watch, exciting to play. He is good for the game, but I mean, it's debatable on if he's a little too powerful because he is definitely the best DPS in the game right now by a pretty good margin. So he has to be an S tier. There's no doubt about it. Ana is not quite S tier, especially with Kiriko coming in the game, and Kiriko has her cleanse. So that is one thing that kind of makes Ana a little bit worse. I just noticed that Kiriko is not on here. We will just kind of talk about where she is. Yeah, Ashe. Ashe is B tier. I think that there's a couple of heroes that are a little bit better than her. She's kind of a little bit more exploitable now in Overwatch 2. And kind of like when you start playing around Kiriko, it's really hard because I play Ashe. And when you get the rate of fire boost, it actually makes it harder for you on Ashe than it does other characters. And I don't think it benefits you quite as much, but your reload is mostly what it feels better than your fire rate. Your fire rate, man, it's a little rough to hit shots sometimes. Like I said, especially in a Kiriko ult. The DPS passive, it doesn't really affect me all that much. I can still hit my shots on Ashe, but I think she's not quite as good as some other characters, just the way the game plays right now. BAP is really good. Lamp, really good. Ult, insane. Like honestly, probably one of the best. It's one of the best ults in the game. He can put out a good amount of damage, and he can put out insane healing. Definitely A tier. Bastion is definitely a C. He's not going to be as good as the characters that I'm probably going to put with Ashe, but he is not terrible. He's usable. I just don't think he'll ever be used like the higher play, but he can be fun. I like the changes they made to him to make him more fun and not just a sitting still target that shoots at people and is really annoying. Brig. I always forget her name. I always try to say Baptiste for some reason. Brig is definitely A tier. She's still really good. It's going to depend on what your team is doing and how your team comp and how you're playing. But Brig is still really, really good. I just think that she's definitely not S tier, especially not with Jungle Queen being worse. But she's still really, really good, and you can still make her work. Cass is definitely C. I don't like the changes they made to him. I think Magnetic Grenade is just annoying and cheesy, more so than it is helpful to his kit. I'm glad they got rid of Flashbang because Flashbang was stupid. It was an automatic kill, but it also did keep people from getting up on him. Like he could stop a flanker really easily with his flash. Now he can't really do that. He can stick them, which like I said, it's just all it really is cheesy. I don't think Cass is very good. I don't see really a point in picking him over some of the other DPS heroes. He will always be fun to hit shots with, but he's just not very good. Doomfist is definitely a C. It's going to depend on how good the person is with Doomfist and how much use they can get out of him. If you're good with Doomfist tech, you could probably make use of him, but he's really easily countered, so that's why he's in C, because I don't think he's as good as some of the other tanks that we're going to rank a little bit later. Diva is definitely A. Diva's really good. She's not the best tank in the game, but she's really good. The only reason that Winston's a little bit better than her is the only reason she's not like S tier or something, but she is really, really good. That's why I said I might make more tiers specifically for someone like Diva. Echo's B. She's good. She has some issues trying to be as good in Overwatch 2 as 1. She doesn't quite fit in the game quite as much in most comps. You can make her work. She still has insane damage. Her beam will always be good. So she's definitely not A, but B is perfectly fine for Echo. Wrecking Ball probably deserves to be somewhere between these two. That's probably why I'm going to make a tier like after I get done with this, just to not get confused. Wrecking Ball probably deserves to be between these two, but I'm going to put him in A for now. He's still really good. He has a lot of health. His armor is really strong. He can be very disruptive. So if you're facing someone like a Reinhardt, you could just bully Reinhardt with Wrecking Ball pretty easily. So Wrecking Ball can still be pretty good, but I don't think he's quite as good. I would rather have a Diva on my team than a Wrecking Ball in most cases. It just depends on the game mode and the map and whatnot. Hanzo. Hanzo's B tier. Hanzo can still be really powerful. Storm Arrow is really powerful. He's always going to be a pretty good character. I just don't think he's quite as good in Overwatch 2. I really like using him, especially if someone tries to play Widow, just because I can shoot the fucking arrow, see what they are, and just destroy them. But he's more annoying than he is good. He always will be, just because someone gets lucky and hits a random shot and kills you. But he's not like a great hero right now. But you can make him work, and you can do some crazy things if you're hitting shots on Hanzo. Junkrat is C. There's certain scenarios where you're going to face a Junkrat. It's going to be really annoying, especially at lower ranks, but I don't think he'll ever be played at the higher ranks. But he is good. He's just not insane or anything. I think he's a little bit harder to get use out of than some other characters, but he can be very powerful, especially against teams that don't know how to do anything against him, and especially on certain maps. Lucio, his speed boost is really good. Got to put him in S tier. He is just really good. The current way the game plays, speed is the name of the game. Mei. I don't really know where I want to put Mei. Probably A. She has a lot of damage. She can be really, really, really good if she gets up in your face. Her self-heal with her little ice is really good. She can wall people off so she can isolate targets. Mei is really good. I think A is fine for her. Yeah, I like A for Mei. Mercy, it'd probably be between these two tiers. I think that Mercy's good, but I think that you would definitely rather have a different healer on your team than a Mercy in most cases, except for the next one coming up. But I think that she's definitely good. She's not bad. I just don't think that she's one of the healers you're gonna really want on your team, like that you're gonna be calling for. Moira, I think Moira's the worst support in the game currently. I think she just gets outclassed by other supports. She can do really good healing, but I just don't think you'd really want a Moira on your team at the end of the day. So I think I'm probably gonna make a tier and put her one below and leave Moira in C. Erisa is probably B. Erisa's good. She's pretty hard to kill. She can be really tanky and really annoying, but I don't think she's going to be like one of the meta picks or one of the most played tanks. I think that she's going to be really, really good in the low ranks, but I think that she'll probably get exploited a little bit more as you go higher up. But she's a really good tank, and you can make her work, especially with the right teams. Farah is really good, especially if you have a mercy pocket. Farah will always be really powerful against certain teams, as she can do insane damage with her rockets. Like, I really like playing Farah. She's one of the most fun characters in the game, but I don't think that she's kind of similar to Erisa. She's not going to be like a meta pick, I don't think. She's really fun, and she is really good. So I could put her here. Reaper is going to go in A. Reaper's really powerful right now. They buffed him, like, changes spread, and all this other crap about him. In the DPS passive changes, all really help Reaper. I hate this character. I've always hated him. I wish he was removed from Overwatch. I don't really mean that, but he is really annoying, and I hate him. I've always hated Reaper, but he deserves A. Rein, I would probably put Rein between these two. I'm probably going to do that later, but I'm going to put him in B tier for now. Not terrible. He can work on the right team comps. He's just not quite as good as some other tanks. I think he's one of the tanks you would least rather have on your team in the game right now, just by the way that the game plays. And you need a Lucio, but Lucio is S tier, so more than likely you're probably going to have one, especially at the higher ranks. Roadhog, I think, is really good. I think people are sleeping on Roadhog. He's really survivable, and he's so stupid to kill. I think that Overwatch kind of gets carried away sometimes with like the sustain in the game and like letting players just survive endless amounts of damage, and it's really annoying when you're facing against it. But he is really, really good right now. And his main counter is Ana, and Kiriko is the new support, which can cleanse her anti-nade, which is his biggest weakness. So you can play around and use Roadhog on a team comp, and Roadhog is really, really good. I didn't mean to put him in S. Sigma, he's not the best tank in the game, but he is definitely one of the best tanks in the game. I would definitely put him in S tier or a tier below maybe. But he is definitely insanely good. His damage output is insane. His rock will always be good. He has an insane ult. He can absorb damage, and he has a shield. Like, I don't know what more you need to give a character for them to be good, but he is insane. Soldrin is still really good. Like, if you're hitting your rails, you can still delete people. You cannot charge off of shield anymore, so if you're playing a shield tank, it could be a little bit more annoying because you're not getting your railgun charge anymore. You kind of have to pick and choose like where you want to shoot. Before, I would just like if I was playing like a Reinhardt or a Sigma, I would just shoot their shield constantly, charge the railgun up, and then get a pick on a squishy. You can't really do that anymore, so you kind of have to shoot targets. But she is still really powerful in the right hands, and I think she still is a really good pick. She's just not quite S tier. Soldier, I think Soldier's a little bit better than Soldier in its current state. I think Soldier's actually really good at the way the game plays. Getting the reload increase and getting the fire rate increase, combine that with Kiriko, and it's busted what you can do with him right now. He is really powerful. Sombra it would be between these two. We'll put him here. We'll move these two up. That way I know to move them later. Yeah, those two, like Sombras are really, really, really good. I don't think she's not as good as a DPS as Genji, so I don't want to put her up there. And I do think like if you don't have a competent team, it's a little bit harder to get use out of her than it is someone like Soldier. But her utility and what she brings to the team is insane. Like you can do so much with Sombra, and she's really fun to play right now. They did a really good job with like making her good. I really like Sombra as a character, so I'm a little biased. Symmetra is not bad. She can be really useful on certain maps in certain ways. Don't think she's terrible, but I don't think she's great. I would put her in B tier. If I make another tier, I might put her between these two, but I'd probably put her in B tier. She's fun there. Torb is fun. Torb is really good right now. He can do a lot of damage with his turret as he always could. He is really hard to kill with the extra armor that he has. He's a really good character. I don't think really much else needs to be said about Torb. Like he deserves to be an A tier with the way, especially with the way the game plays. He is just really, really, really hard to kill, and he's a fun little character. Tracer, she's still an A tier. I don't think she's as good as Sombra. Sombra kind of takes her place in my opinion. I think Sombra's a little bit better, but Tracer will always be good for a really talented player, someone that's really good at tracking and knows how to use Tracer properly. I am not that great with Tracer. I've never really put in the time to learn her, but I still respect Tracer. I know how good Tracer can be. Widowmaker is B, probably between these two. She's a little bit harder to get use out of in Overwatch 2 in most cases, but a good Widow can still do some crazy things on the right team comp. But I think in most cases you would still rather have a different DPS than a Widow right now. Winston is the best tank at the game at this current point with the way the game plays, being really dive heavy. He is really, really good. His shield, his extra health, he is just insane. And I love his right click. What they did to his right click is awesome. They need to keep doing that kind of stuff to make characters more fun to play. I think that Winston is definitely the best tank in the game right now, with Sigma being probably number 2. So that's the way that I see the tank role. And that's kind of how I'm like ranking this. I'm kind of ranking this based off of like how I see, like I can't put I want to put her a tier higher because Tracer, I think that they're the same role, and I would rather have a Sombra than a Tracer, right? So I want to put her. I'm ranking them versus other DPS characters rather than just overall in the game. She is the worst tank in the game currently, in my opinion. I would rather have a Doomfist. I would rather have an Erisa. I would rather have a Ryan than I would a Junker Queen after what I've played. That's just my current opinion. They nerfed her to hell and back with her shout. I think that needed to be done. They need to do something else to her kit to make her a little bit more useful outside of her shout and her just making her team impossible to kill. Zarya is better than Ryan, so B tier. I think she's pretty good. I would rather have some of the other tanks, but she can be really hard to kill if she is getting really good charge. But if not, Zarya is going to be pretty useless depending on player. And Zenyatta deserves to be an A tier because, I mean, he's always good. He's not a meta pick, but his orb is insane. He does a lot of damage. He will always be good. He is going to go in A tier. Now let's make some tiers to separate this a little bit. One below, we'll call this A+. And we're going to use this for Sombra and Diva. I think that these two deserve to be on a tier by themselves because... must have changed the wrong one. This is S. I think these two deserve to be on a tier by themselves because I think they're definitely good enough to where I can put them above the tanks in this category. But I mean, for Diva and she is, I think, better than the DPS on this category. But there's certain things that keep me from putting her in S. Like I think she's not as quite as good by herself. I think she's not quite as good as these two tanks. That's why I put them in A plus. Is there anyone I want to move down? I think I'd be fine with all these here. These I'd probably change a little. I'm probably gonna make one for below, add a tier below. Probably make a B minus because I don't like some of these being on the same tier. I think that Mercy I would move down. I think she's, like I said, I think she's good, but I think that I would put her in B minus right above Moira. She's better than Moira, but I think that that she's not quite as good. I don't want to put her in this tier. I'd put Ryan one tier lower than Zarya because I think Zarya is just a little bit better. That's just my take on it. I would rather have Zarya in B and Ryan C. Sim, I'm fine with her there. Probably Widow in B minus because, like I said, Widow's good, but she's a little bit more situational and when you can get use out of her, so it's a little bit harder to use her in Overwatch 2. So I'm gonna leave her there, especially like with the aiming bug. I don't know how many other people have that, but the aim feels a little bit more floaty, especially for me. It's a little bit harder to hit shots on certain characters. But I would put her in B minus regardless. Echo probably below these. I might just leave her there. I'm fine with that. I think Echo is really good. I think that's most of what I would change. I think the rest of this is fine. Maybe he could go to B. He's a little situational. I'll just put him below Roadhog, like at the bottom of A or something. Yeah, that's kind of how I would do it. So, I'd make one above. I'd make one like S plus. Add a row below. And we'll call it S. And we'll just move all these down and leave Genji at the top. So I think that's basically the way that I would segment it. I think the balance of the game actually right now is actually pretty fire because I think most things are usable. Even Junker Queen at D, she's usable. I'm not, when I put her at D, I'm not saying she's just awful like some other people. She's definitely usable, especially at the lower levels. But I think that I would rather have it in either tank. So that's why I'm putting her, I'm doing it step by step. So like he's the best, then below him is him, then her, then you come down Roadhog, you got Wrecking Ball, Erisa, you see what I'm saying? So I just go down the list. And I think that she's definitely the worst, like without a doubt. And the only reason I didn't put some of these DPS or whatever in D is because I think that they have a little bit more use, even scaling up a little bit more. Well, you guys, I realized that I'm an idiot and I didn't put Kiriko because she was on the list and I forgot by the time I got to the end of it. Kiriko would be in S tier. I think she's insane. I think she's a meta pick. And yeah, I would definitely put her in S tier up here with Lucio. So if you're wondering where Kiriko is in the game, she's insane. She has a lot of damage. She has okay healing. Her teleport is really powerful. Her cleanse is pretty good. And her ult is just stupid. I think her ult's a little powerful and probably needs touched up, but that's neither here nor there. But she would definitely be an S tier. I apologize for that. Peace out. I think that this is the best way that I would do the tier list. Let me know your guys' opinions on how you think the way the game plays out, and if you think anyone should be moved or you would put them in a different spot. This is just my current opinion on how I think the heroes in Overwatch 2 falls. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, and as always, guys, peace out.